Hello class, tomorrow we will be looking at finding the connotation and denotation of words within a text. So this is just a quick demo of how to find the connotation and denotation of words. So let's start with denotation. Denotation is just a fancy way of saying dictionary definition. The best way to remember that when you see denotation is that D is for denotation and D is also for dictionary definition. It's the three Ds. So when you want to find the denotation of a word, you either go to the dictionary or you go on the internet to your favorite web browser and find out what the definition of that word is. Next we have connotation. Connotation has to do with the connections that we make to words. So see C for connotation, C for connections. So that's when you hear a word and your brain has different emotions tied to it and different memories tied to it and different connections. For our first example, let's start with the word movie. When we want to figure out the denotation of the word movie, we're going to have to look up its definition. It's always best when you're looking for the definition of a word to type in definition of and then the word you're looking for. So definition of movie. And I would search. And there you have it, a story or event recorded by a camera as a set of moving images and shown in a theater or on television, a motion picture. And we can just copy that down. Now if we're looking for the connotation, we gotta think a little deeper. So when I'm trying to think of the connotations for a word, I rack my brain, I think really hard, and I start with the first word that comes to mind. And for me, that's popcorn. So popcorn will pop into my head first, and then I'll keep thinking of what else comes to mind when I think about movies. And I'll think, well, I like to watch movies with my friends, and so friends will pop into my head. So I'll have popcorn and friends, and I'll think even more about what memories come to mind when I think of movies. And date night will pop into my head, because I've watched movies on date nights a lot. And then I'll keep thinking, and maybe something else will pop into my head. Like laughter. I laugh a lot when I watch movies. So these are all valid connotations for the word movie. So now I can go back to my connotations of movie and just list out all those things that I thought of. Popcorn, friends, date nights, and laughter. And there I have my denotation for movie and connotations for the word movie. So why does this matter, you may be asking? Why do we need to know about connotations and denotations and all of this stuff? The answer is word choice. Connotation is how authors decide what words to use in their pieces. So say an author were deciding between using the word movie and the word film. These two words have essentially the same denotation. They mean the same thing, technically. So when deciding which word to use, we would have to look into our connotations. We already have our connotations for the word movie: friendship, laughter, date nights, popcorn. So then we'd have to think of what our connotations for the word film are. Personally, I think of old film reels, black and white movies that my parents might have watched, and those countdown numbers that always flicked across the screen within a circle. So even though we know that these two words have the same denotation, we had to think really hard about which one we're going to use based on what connections we make in our head and what connections we think our audience is going to make. Alright, that's the end of the tutorial. Just remember, if you get confused, that denotation starts with a D, which is also what dictionary definition starts with, and that connotation starts with a C for connection. It's the first thing that pops into your head. I'll see you in class on Monday.